You have 24 hours during the day, and if you cannot only dedicate 30 minutes on your personal development, then this is frankly a recipe of disaster. High performers and all successful people in this world dedicate some time daily on their personal development. And the most important form through which they can develop their own selves is by reading books. Hello, I'm Ramiz Ahmed from the High Performance Quest, and today I'm going to tell you 5 important books on self-development which you should read in order to create a difference in your life. So, let's get started with those 5 important books on personal development. Well, the first book on self-development that I would highly recommend you to read is one of the classics, and it is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It is a classic book written by Dale Carnegie on influencing skills, and the principles that are stated in this book can be implemented in your personal life as well as in your professional life. This book is quite very much short to read. It's about only 200 or 220 pages, and it has some of the greatest secrets that great influencers have used in the history. This book is divided into 4 parts. I don't want to disclose any of the chapter in order to keep the suspense intact, but I would definitely tell you the 4 important parts in which this book is divided. This book is divided into 4 parts, and the name of the parts are: part number 1, fundamental techniques in handling people. Now this is very important when you want to have some basic tactics and tips in order to handle people effectively. Part number 2 relates to the ways to make people like you. And now this is also very important in your life. How you would influence people unless and until they are not influenced by you. They don't like you. How can you influence those people? So the first step is always to make the people like you. Part 3 and 4 relates to how to win people to your way of thinking and how to change people without giving them any offense. Now these 2 areas are very important in the corporate world, and if you are an employee and if you are working in a particular job and if you want to influence your colleagues to make them work or to influence them in a positive way, this book is really very important for you. It is, once again, I just want to tell you, it is a very short book. It can be read within the next 2 weeks, keeping in mind that I have stated you to read at least 30 minutes a day, and if you give some more time, for example an hour or so on reading books, this can be easily read in a week or so. So this is a very classical book on how to influence people and how to win their hearts and how to make them do what you want them to do. So this is a good book and it is a must read for you. I try to read this book almost every year, and I have bought this new copy just right now. Last one was having so much highlighted material that I really needed to purchase this new one. So grab a copy of this book and start reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. The second book that I would highly recommend you to read is another classic, and this is written by Stephen R. Covey, and the book is titled 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, if you are in a particular job or if you are running a business, these are the 7 habits that Stephen Covey highly recommends you to have in yourself in order to improve your execution skills. In order to make you more effective, he has stated 7 important principles in this book, and you should be having those skills in yourself. Stephen R. Covey is remembered as one of the greatest management gurus in the world, and this book is one of his bestsellers and one of the books that every manager, every teacher on management highly recommends you to read. So this is the one which you should also be reading apart from How to Win Friends and Influence People. The third book that I would want you to read is another classic, and this is written by Napoleon Hill, and the title of the book is The Law of Success in 16 Lessons. Napoleon Hill is normally remembered for his classical book Think and Grow Rich, but this, in my opinion, this book is highly underrated because the quality of laws he has stated in this book is phenomenal, and you would really be astounded to read this book, and the depth of this book through which he has explained those principles is really fascinating. You would see quite repetition in this book, but repetition is key to success. And you should keep this in mind while reading, that you would expect quite a few repetition in this book. But this book is a huge one, and it is about 800 pages. In some version, it is about 1,000 pages. So in the 16 lessons are divided almost equally. That means for every principle he has given about 60 to 70 pages of descriptive material which you should be reading in order to build that law of success in yourself. This is a very heavy book, and I would really recommend you to read. And if you are a slow reader, it would take about 2 months or so for you to read if you read this book 30 minutes daily. But if you are a good reader, if you are a speed reader, and you can dedicate an hour or so, it can be fairly read in the next 15 to 20 days. So grab a copy of this book, and this is the book you should be having in your personal bookshelf. The fourth book that I would highly recommend you reading is one of my favorites, and really I read this book every year because it has created great differences in my life. And the book is Robert Greene's Mastery. If you want to develop a particular skill in yourself, then this is the book. This book will tell you the pathway. This book will guide you of the roadway that will lead you to the mastery in the skill you want to achieve. This book is also very phenomenal in taking out from you your field of inclination. If you are not clear about what should be your profession and what skill you should be pursuing, this book Mastery has a whole chapter on deciding or taking out your field of inclination and start acting on them in order to build a profession that is purely based on your field of inclination. So this is a very phenomenal book. This book is about 320 pages, and I would want you to read it very slowly and very firmly, keeping a good eye on all the examples Robert Greene has stated in this book, and you should be taking guidance from those stories and principles. You should be reading this book very slowly and noting important points down. It has a lot of things which you can really implement in your field of inclination in order to gain mastery in your field. So this is a must read for you. The last book that I would want you to read, I'm reading this book currently, and I must admit that I have not finished this book yet. I'm somehow in the middle of this book, but I have found this book to be really inspiring for me. It has some great principles, and it has some great quotations which I normally use and inspire myself to achieve more. And the book is written by Jack Canfield, and it is The Success Principles. I have the 10th version of this book, which is the most updated. It has about 67 principles which you can implement in your life in order to create a successful life. And the quality of this book is that Jack Canfield has written this book in very simple language. Frankly, it took me to read only 10 days to read about 400 plus pages of this book. And I read only 20 to 25 minutes in the morning. I have this habit. So it is a very phenomenal book, and it has some great principles easily described with the course of action which you should be taking in order to implement that principle in your life. The book goes in a very simple format. Jack Canfield describes the basic principle he wants to teach, and he provides a few examples, and then he come up with a course of action and an action point which you should be incorporating in your life, and he also provides you the strategy which you can use to implement that principle. So this is a very good book. This book is about 800 pages, just like The Law of Success written by Napoleon Hill, but you would not regret giving time to this book. So these were the 5 important books that I would really want you to read in order to develop yourself and make yourself more effective in your life and in your profession as well. What I want you to do after this video is you should be scheduling your 30 minutes slot for your personal development and try to read these books in the next 3 or 4 months. It can be easily achieved, and it all requires a will and a true spirit and a true intention to start this action. So grab a copy of any of these books and start reading it for 30 minutes from tomorrow onwards. Try to make this a habit. I hope you like this video, and it would really inspire you to work on your personal development in the next upcoming days. I would really want you to like this video and subscribe to my channel if I'm creating some difference in the quality of your life. This is Ramiz Ahmed signing off from the High Performance Quest. Hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.